Hello YouTube. This is me sharing how I cope with my mental illness, and it's part 3. I really was trying to get this done, and I couldn't do it in 2 parts. So this is going to be part 3. As I said before, I could go on and on about tithes and offerings and the blessings that have come to me. Protection. Most of my blessings have been immaterial, but they're so important because I do believe the day will come when I will be wealthy. I'm in my mid-40s. It's wonderful because I'll be able to handle it better. But in the meantime, as I'm slowly but surely being given a wealth on the inside, as my self-esteem is improving, as I'm learning to be around people and learning skills to be around people so that in public things don't start spinning around because I'm so uncomfortable. I don't have panic attacks anymore. I used to have panic attacks sometimes every day, particularly when I was out and around people. And I thought I was having mild heart attacks. I didn't even know what was happening to me. I don't have those anymore, hardly ever. Sometimes I do have panic attacks, but it's rare. Because of the skills that I've learned that the universe has brought to me, and I do believe it's a result of tithes and offerings. Many, many, many immaterial blessings. With another thing that I do that it's really just because I don't want my time to be wasted. Yeah, there's times when I have fun. There's times when, and this is really important too, by the way. Like I said, I allow myself to fail. There's times when I know I'm so depressed, I'm so out of energy, I'm 1 or 2 steps from being suicidal. I'm not planning suicide, but I just wish I was dead. The pain is so bad that I wish I was dead. Doesn't mean that I want to commit suicide, but I know that where I'm at emotionally is such that I don't need to be pushing myself. And so if I play video games all day, if I pleasure myself compulsively, I think y'all know what that means. If I watch YouTube all day and watch zombie movies, because I love zombie movies, when I'm in that mental state, I'll allow it. And sometimes that's occurred for weeks and even months. There's times where I don't do a lot of productive stuff. I allow myself to fail. Because I've incorporated a lot of the things that I've talked about in the previous parts of this talk of how I cope with my mental illness, no matter how bad I'm doing, probably I'm going to watch some stuff in Spanish to increase my Spanish. Probably I'm going to do a minimum of about a half an hour of positive affirmations. Probably I will have done some mantras. Doesn't matter how bad I'm doing. If I'm doing well, I will have exercised. I will have spent hours exposing myself to Spanish, as well as studying formally Spanish, as well as I think I just said that. Hours potentially of working out, eating healthy. I put eating healthy on here. Oh, there it is. Well, no, that ain't it. But eating healthy, diet and exercise is very important. It is helpful for mental health. I don't allow people, like I said before, to tell me, well, if you're depressed, why don't you go jogging? That'll increase your endorphins and that'll help you get better. That's what you should do. They don't take mental illness seriously, and generally speaking, we don't take other people's problems as seriously as we take our own. So we'll dismiss other people's problems with a platitude. And what I have found with mild depression, a jog might be helpful. If I'm majorly depressed, I don't have the energy to jog. If I force myself to jog, I'm more tired, and it didn't really help at all with the depression. It just made me more exhausted, and I almost can't move. So none of this should be taken to the extreme, and a person should develop a plan of action for diet and exercise. My plan of action has largely been developed through reading Muscle and Fitness and through reading Runner's World. And I picked out what worked for me. And I began to learn about all of these different healthy ways of eating. Finally, I eat fish every day. I don't even like fish, but I know it's healthy. I eat much more vegetables every day, but each person has to develop a plan that works for them. I'm not vegan, so there's things I can eat that are vegan. I will eat, or can eat. I'm not a vegetarian, so there's a lot of stuff that I eat that a vegetarian won't eat. Each person has to develop a plan. And I recommend these kinds of magazines because it's a smorgasbord of information. It's more information that you can use. And you can read a whole magazine and maybe pull out one little point, or maybe nothing. But I recommend subscribing to magazines like this, even for poor people like me. Because a subscription to one of these magazines will cost like $1 something a month. And it's a wealth of information. If I read them, I don't always read every article, but I've done enough to where I've been able to pull out little things and develop a plan of action for my diet, a plan of action for my exercise routine, for my strength training routine that I follow as much as possible based on my mental health status. There's times where I don't work out at all because my mental health is really bad. And I know pushing myself is not a good thing. Pampering myself is better. And there's times where I just don't. Nowadays, I work out twice a day. You know, I'm doing better. I'm sleeping a little bit better. Sleep is important. It's very difficult. I go to sleep at 4 a.m. and I've been doing that for about 3 weeks. Going to sleep between about 3:30 and 5 a.m. I don't really like that, but that works. I have a history of having sleep problems, of being too afraid to sleep at night, and I guess feeling more comfortable sleeping during the day. But either way, whether I sleep at night or sleep at day, during the day, I have a history of not sleeping well. And a lot of times not sleeping for days and tossing and turning. One, I do not smoke meth. I've tried it a few times, but, you know, I've had sleeping problems since about 17 years before I even smoked meth for the first time. People don't take mental illness seriously, and that's one of the first things they'll say. Oh, so you smoke meth. You can't sleep. Oh, do you smoke meth? No, I don't. Another thing, people don't take mental illness seriously, so they'll try to read their explanations into things. Oh, so you're a night owl. Not true. I prefer sleeping at night, but there's a lot of fear associated with sleeping at night. But whether I do sleep at night or during the day, I struggle with sleep. As the years have passed, little by little, as I do all of these things that I'm talking about, my sleep has gotten better and more reliable. You know, I don't sleep uninterrupted, but more often than not, I can get 6 hours of sleep. I do have to get up to go pee, but usually I can go right back to sleep. Lately it's been like that, but there may come times in the future when I can't sleep. No, I'm not a night owl. Again, I don't let people try to diagnose me or try to tell me, you don't have mental illness, you just smoke meth. You don't have mental illness, you just got a demon. You don't have mental illness, you're just a night owl. You know, you're a hypochondriac. You know, that's psychosomatic. Yes, psychosomatic are illnesses that are real and exist that are brought on by mental illness. But people use that to say, people use psychosomatic incorrectly to say, you think you have mental illness or that you have these physical illness as a result of mental illness. You don't have either, you're just making it up. That's not what psychosomatic means. I don't let people mistreat me, and I don't let people try to use platitudes to discount what I'm saying. And I've confronted people with that, and they won't admit it. I'm not discounting what you're saying. I'm not judging you. I'm not being bigoted against you. They are. They don't like that terminology because it doesn't make them look good, but they are. I find I have to distance myself from people like that because they'll do it over and over and over again. And they'll say, you're just being argumentative. You're very argumentative, because they don't want me defending myself against what they say. They think they're hurting my feelings, insulting my intelligence. Being condescending is okay. What's not okay is me defending myself or me calling them on it, or me calling it what it is. Bigotry, condescension, classism. They're thinking that they're superior to me. They don't want to hear any of that. What I do with these people is I just distance myself from them. That's what I do. But a lot of the good that has come from giving my tithes, paying tithes, and paying offerings where I best saw fit, when I was taken advantage of by people or by churches or whatever, if I felt something wasn't right, I just began to give somewhere else. I didn't become jaded and stop giving altogether. The blessings that I have received are many and are immense. I had someone tell me, You know, I'll do my tithes and offerings when I don't think about what I'm getting back in return. The only reason you do tithes and offerings is because you want to get blessings from God and you want the universe to bring you things. Yeah, I do. You know, that's a red herring. That's their way, and they don't even realize it, of saying good is evil and evil is good. You know, they're saying, I don't give because I don't want to think about what I'm getting back in return. The only concern I have is when I give, I don't have any control over the person I'm giving to. I can't make demands on them. You know, hopefully I get a thank you and that's it. But I found that as I gave to individuals or to churches or pastors, I always felt like I should have some kind of clout. And I find that I receive the most blessings when I get nothing back in return. So now, since '09, most of my tithes and offerings go to sponsoring children. And all I get back in return is a thank you once every 6 months. Because all the blessings that I get from the universe are too great. And if I give to individuals and they're not really nice to me, and I become resentful, and I try to make them be really nice to me, right? Or if I need to talk to them, I try to bend their ear by force because I'm giving you money. You need to listen to me talking about my problems. I diminish the blessings that God would give me. So that's why I give and I sponsor children, because they can't give me back anything in return. Just a thank you. I'm finna drink some water right now. You can't see what I'm doing, but I was drinking some water because I was thirsty. So, you know, I recommend a person learn a new skill, learn a musical instrument, and learn a new language. As I began to learn Spanish, I just couldn't get the numbers down. I could not get the numbers down. And I began to have to visualize numbers and then say them in Spanish. There was no translating. There was no looking at 33 and saying 33 and then 33. I couldn't do that. I had to visualize 30. I had to see the number in my head and then give the Spanish to it. There was no saying it in English first. That very serendipitously, I began to get more control over my thoughts. And a lot of what makes me dysfunctional around people is that inability to control my thoughts. And it can be like that person's reading my mind, or I'm reading that person's mind, or that person's plotting to kill me. As I begin to learn Spanish, I began to get more control over my thoughts. Eventually, I found visualizing, sending, and receiving love. I can be in public, and I'm not so concerned about someone's reading my mind. I'm reading their mind. That they're going to kill me. I have more control. It's not perfect. I have a long way to go. But learning Spanish was one of the tools. And there's a myriad of tools that can help me. There's not just one. But learning Spanish, because it really forced me to hone my brain, right? And my mental ability, and do these visualizations and think in terms of the parts of speech of Spanish, which is different than English. As one person wisely said, Spanish is not English with other words. It's not. It is a different way of seeing the world. Yes, there are sentences that can be translated word for word, but more often they cannot be. Not word for word no. It's a different way of seeing the world. As I began to approach fluency, I'm not fluent yet, but as I began to approach fluency, I began to realize, wow, I'm getting a little more control over my thoughts. So these were some of the things that I've done to cope with my mental illness. And I hope that this thing stayed on. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, share, comment, commercial, recommend my video. Do one or more of those things. Thanks. Best wishes.